Welcome to latest News Blaster. When the news of Prunella Scales' passing broke, it felt as though an entire era of British comedy had come to a close. The beloved actress, known for her sharp wit, warmth, and unforgettable role as Sybil Fawlty in the iconic sitcom Fawlty Towers, left behind a legacy that will forever remain etched in the hearts of millions. But for one man, her co-star and dear friend John Cleese, the loss was far more personal. For weeks after the announcement, Cleese remained silent. Fans speculated, the media waited, and the entertainment world collectively held its breath, knowing how deeply the two legends had shared not just a show but a lifetime bond that transcended scripts and camera lenses. Then, in a heartfelt and emotional statement, Cleese finally broke his silence, and his words left fans across the world in tears. A friendship forged in laughter. John Cleese and Prunella Scales first met in the 1970s while working on Fawlty Towers. Cleese, who co-wrote the series with his then-wife Connie Booth, immediately recognized in Scales a rare comedic talent, one that could keep pace with his razor-sharp timing and towering presence. "She had that remarkable ability to make you laugh before she even spoke," Cleese once said. It wasn't just her lines, it was the way she delivered them, with that perfectly raised eyebrow and a tone that could slice through steel. The chemistry between them became the heartbeat of Fawlty Towers. As Basil and Sybil, they portrayed the quintessentially chaotic British couple, constantly at odds, endlessly bickering, yet bound together by a strange and tender affection. Behind the scenes, though, there was no animosity. Instead, there was deep respect, shared laughter, and an unspoken understanding that they were creating something timeless. Cleese often credited Prunella with grounding him during the stressful days of production. "I could get quite intense," he admitted in a 2015 interview. But Prue had this extraordinary calm about her. She'd look at me, smile that knowing smile, and suddenly everything seemed lighter. She was the heart of that show, really. A private bond beyond the screen. As the years rolled on, Cleese and Scales remained close. Though their careers diverged, Cleese moving into film with Monty Python and Hollywood comedies, while Scales continued her distinguished career in British television and theatre. They always found time for each other. They shared lunches, swapped letters, and phoned one another often. "We never lost touch," Cleese said. "Even when life took us in different directions, she was always there, always a message, always a laugh." When Prunella was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in the 2010s, Cleese was quietly devastated. He visited her when he could, and stayed in touch with her husband, the actor Timothy West, who became her full-time carer. "Tim was extraordinary," Cleese recalled in his statement. "The love and patience he showed for Prue, it was beyond words. Watching them together was a reminder of what real devotion looks like." Though her illness gradually took away her memory, Cleese once revealed that when they met, she would still light up upon seeing him. "She'd look at me for a moment, then that spark would return." She might not recall all the details, but she'd laugh, that same mischievous laugh that used to echo through the studio. It was like seeing a bit of the old Prue again. The day the world fell silent. When Prunella Scales passed away peacefully, surrounded by family, tributes poured in from across the world. Fans, fellow actors, and public figures celebrated her extraordinary career and her kindness off-screen. He noticed Cleese's silence. For nearly 2 weeks, he said nothing publicly. No statement, no tweet, no interview. It was uncharacteristic of a man known for his eloquence and humor. Friends close to Cleese later revealed that he was heartbroken beyond words. He reportedly withdrew from public appearances and cancelled a few engagements to grieve privately. Then, one quiet Sunday evening, Cleese posted a message to his social media accounts. It was brief, tender, and profoundly moving. Prue was more than a colleague. She was a friend of the truest kind, funny, fearless, endlessly generous. Every moment with her was a gift. "I will miss her laughter for the rest of my life." He ended the post simply with, "Thank you, Sybil, for everything." Within hours, the message went viral. Fans flooded the comments with stories of how Fawlty Towers had shaped their childhoods, how Scales' performances brought joy during dark times, and how the partnership between Cleese and Scales had defined British humor. Fans react, "It feels like losing family." Across social media, fans expressed their heartbreak not only over Scales' passing, but also over Cleese's raw tribute. One fan wrote, "John and Prunella were like family to us. Watching Basil and Sybil was like watching our own parents fight, but funnier. It's the end of something truly special." Another commented when John said, "Thank you, Sybil," I cried. It wasn't just a line, it was goodbye from one legend to another. Thousands shared old clips from Fawlty Towers, the fire drill episode, the anniversary dinner scene, and of course, the iconic moment when Sybil's sarcastic wit completely dismantled Basil's pompous bluster. The laughter that once defined their partnership now carried a bittersweet echo. Inside the man behind the words, those who know Cleese personally say that Prunella's passing hit him harder than most would imagine. "She was part of his creative DNA," said a longtime friend. They built something together that neither of them could have done alone. When you lose someone like that, it's not just grief, it's like losing a part of yourself. Cleese himself acknowledged this sentiment during a small interview a few days later. "Comedy," he said softly, "isn't just about jokes, it's about trust. You trust the person next to you to understand your rhythm, your madness, your silences. Prue understood mine better than anyone." He described her as a woman of infinite grace and mischief. He recalled a moment on set when the two burst into laughter during a serious rehearsal, unable to stop for several minutes. The director gave up. "We were hopeless," he laughed through tears. But it was perfect, because that's what Prue brought, joy in the most unexpected places, a legacy beyond laughter. Prunella Scales' legacy extends far beyond her iconic role in Fawlty Towers. She was an accomplished stage actress, a champion of the arts, and a woman who handled fame with humility. Cleese highlighted this in his statement. Prue never chased celebrity, she chased truth, in her characters, in her work, in life. That's why audiences loved her, she was real. He also shared an anecdote about how, during a reunion years ago, Scales told him, "John, we made people laugh, and that's no small thing in this world." That line, Cleese said, has stayed with him ever since. The emotional farewell. A few days after his statement, Cleese attended a private memorial service held for Scales in London. Dressed in a simple black suit, he kept mostly to himself, occasionally greeting fellow actors and old friends. Those who were present described him as visibly emotional. During the service, Cleese was invited to speak. His tribute, described by attendees as heartrending, reportedly began with the same mix of wit and tenderness that defined his relationship with Scales. "If heaven has a hotel," he began, "I can only hope Basil and Sybil are running it. God help the guests." The line drew soft laughter through the tears. But as Cleese continued, his tone shifted. "I don't think I've ever met anyone quite like Prue. She was fiercely intelligent, wonderfully stubborn, and utterly kind. She had that rare combination, sharp as a blade, but gentle as a breeze." As he finished, his voice broke. "She was, and always will be, the finest partner I ever had," honoring a timeless duo. In the weeks following the service, the BBC aired a special tribute to Prunella Scales titled Remembering Sybil, The Life and Laughter of Prunella Scales. The documentary featured rare interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and heartwarming recollections from stars and friends, including Cleese. He appeared briefly toward the end of the program, looking reflective but peaceful. "I think about her often," he said. "Sometimes, I'll hear a line, or see a scene from Fawlty Towers, and I'll catch myself smiling. That's Prue, still making me laugh." The program ended with a shot of Cleese and Scales during the filming of the final episode of Fawlty Towers, both laughing uncontrollably between takes, a fitting image of two comedic souls perfectly in sync. Fans keep the memory alive. Even months later, fans continue to celebrate the legacy of Cleese and Scales. Old clips of Fawlty Towers trend regularly on social media, and younger generations discover the brilliance of the show for the first time. In an age of fleeting fame and viral content, the enduring charm of Fawlty Towers, and the bond between its stars, stands as proof that genuine artistry never fades. Cleese, now in his 80s, has often reflected on the idea of mortality and legacy. "You don't really die if people keep laughing because of you," he once said. In that sense, Prue will never go. Looking forward with gratitude. Though grief still lingers, Cleese has spoken about channeling his emotions into gratitude. "You spend a lifetime trying to make people laugh," he said in a recent podcast. When someone like Prue comes along, it reminds you that the real joy isn't in the applause, it's in the companionship. She made the journey worthwhile. He went on to encourage fans to honor Prunella, not with sadness, but with laughter. Watch an episode of Fawlty Towers. Laugh at Sybil's wit. Remember her for who she was, a woman who loved to make people smile. That's what she would have wanted. A final goodbye. As John Cleese continues his career and personal journey, it's clear that a part of him will forever remain intertwined with the memory of Prunella Scales. In a touching closing remark from a recent interview, he looked toward the camera, his eyes moist but twinkling. "I hope she's somewhere peaceful. Somewhere where the tea is strong, the guests behave themselves, and the manager's not losing his mind." He chuckled softly. "Good night, Sybil." And with that, fans felt the curtain gently fall on one of television's most beloved partnerships. A bond that will forever define what it means to make the world laugh through tears.